the one thing I would tell you that would serve you for your entire life is to have a place in your heart known as the throne of your heart and make sure God is the only one on it. And I remember her saying that and it hit my heart. It was one of the best advice that I think I've ever received. She said, make sure God is the only one on it and then guard it. And she said, Camille, when things don't line up, you're going to go through circumstances. She said, I love my children, but they always don't do what I believe they should. They're gonna be a headache sometimes, and there's gonna be things, and they're their own people, and you have to let them live their lives, but you can't let them dictate your life. Keep God at the center, and you'll love them through all their seasons. And then she began to tell me about a spouse, and she's like, sometimes it'll feel like they're close, and sometimes they'll feel like they're distant. But you'll know how to stay in love if you keep God at the center, keep him on that throne and guard it. And I took that advice to heart because I could see the weight of joy that was resting on her in the midst of being in the home where people were crying. She was just in this place of absolute shalom. She was at peace. She had so much joy in her. And I remember that moment because to me, that was a beautiful example of what it is to have the phrase, everything is meaningless, create a positive reality of how to keep Christ, to keep God on the throne of our heart. And so that was the other thing that came up for me was sitting at that table, gaining that life wisdom as I sip tea with an old friend a whole lot longer than they anticipated, but she did pass away at that following Easter. She passed away on Good Friday. Was her last day on this side of eternity.
That was a beautiful story. And it just kind of reinforces the why and the how to, right? Because sometimes we don't know how to do that. Like, how do I keep Christ? How do I place him on the throne of my heart and make sure no one else sits there when I love other people, when I have a desire for all of these things? Because I remember this conversation I had with the Lord, and he goes, do you know that the love that you desire, I gave that to you, but I wanted you to love me first.
Say that again,
And
but
that hit,
louder.
oh, oh, so he goes, the desire, it was this, the desire that you have for love, because we all desire love. It's the one thing that everybody desires. He said, the desire that you have for love, I gave it to you, but I wanted you to love me first. And I was snotty nose crying because in that moment, I was able to see that I was loving other things more than I loved him, or desiring things more than I desired him. And he said, those things that you desire and I want you to have them. I gave them to you, but I wanted you to love me first. And it was the way that he said it to me. It was so soft and it was so beautiful. And I just wept because I'm a crybaby. And it put things in perspective in that moment. And I think I had started doing them before, but it was just in that moment where he opened that up to me to say, whatever it is that you desire, I gave those desires to you. You desire to be successful. You desire to be happy. You desire all of these things. I want you to have them. I gave them to you, but just love me first, and you'll have all of that. It's nothing for me to get. It's yours. Just love me. And it was just this beautiful courtship that happened, and I felt deeper and deeper in love with Christ because he desired love from us. He desired for us to love him as much as he loves us.
Yeah, that's so good.
And so it's a beautiful gem to say, hey, this is coming from an elderly woman, a friend of yours who had so much wisdom. And we haven't met half of her age, I'm assuming. And so
Yeah.
here is something that we can live with, right? To model, to say, do not, that's the best advice, is to make sure that Jesus is sitting on the throne of your heart. Don't have nothing or anyone else occupy that seat.
And you brought up a beautiful verse that I love going back to, and it kind of connects to our conversation around seeking first the kingdom of God and his
Kingdom.
righteousness. And all these things will be added onto you, right? It's this
Mhm.
beauty of the centrality of seeking, which connects to when we seek, we find. When we ask, he answers. When we knock, the door is opened unto us.